All right, welcome back from break. We're going to go ahead and get started right now. This will be our first sponsored presentation of the day from DoITNow. Erica, Bianco, thank you so much for your sponsorship. Very happy to have you guys come again this year.
Thank you, Brian. So hi, everyone. If the people that are still having breakfast can join, you are going to be very welcome. So today I'm going to show you, apart from the normal commercial stuff that I had to put in the presentation because of this sponsorship, a couple of technologies that make HPC, but also cloud experience frictionless for the end users. But first, a word about me. I'm Erica. I am scientific lead for life science at DoITNow. Because I'm a biologist, I have a PhD in pig genomics, and then I did a postdoc in human genomics. So I was one of the users that was using the HPC, because when in 2012, 13, my boss told me, use the HPC for your analysis, I was completely lost. And those two technologies that I'm going to show you today were not there. My life would have been completely different with them. First, a glance on what DoITNow is doing. We are an HPC service company. We are worldwide. We are completely self-funded. We have 160 HPC experts across the whole world. I will show you a map later, with more than 13 years of experience, at least in EMEA, on the HPC market. But we are doing HPC, AI, and quantum. We are partner agnostics. So some of the sponsors here are our partners as well, and we cover all the different verticals: aerospace, automotive, and of course, life science and pharma, which is more on me. We used to manage 12K users per year and 150 more clusters. And we are also doing training sessions. We are normally doing everything in the HPC. But first, let me show you where we are. So, okay, this is not working. So we are based in Turin and Barcelona with the big bunch of professionals, but we also have an office in Montpellier and one in Germany, which is one of the youngest that we have. We are covering worldwide. We are offering service 24/7. We also have people in New Zealand, in the US, and in Brazil. So anywhere in the world you are, we can help you with the HPC, AI, and cloud. And we can help you on the consulting phase, also to requesting some grant to the European Union or whatever, installation, support, and also we do research and development as a service. But we also want to contribute to the community. We really think that open source is where the source of new technologies, new ideas, new framework come from. And we want to contribute back to those technologies and to those projects to which we take ideas, inputs, and hints. And I'm going to show you today a couple of them. So the first one is Open On Demand. That would have made my life completely different not that much, 15 years ago. So Open On Demand was developed by the Ohio Supercomputing Center, and it's a web-based interface that provides access to any HPC or cloud instance. It is deployed mostly everywhere in the world. In the map here, you can see the red dot are those ones that come back to the Ohio Supercomputing and say, hey, we are using Open On Demand, and the white one are the one where it was downloaded and they know that it happened, but then they are never in contact with it. If you are using Open On Demand, please contact me or the Ohio Supercomputing Center so we can change your dot from white to red. And it gives you this web access. So how does it work? You as the end user, so the person on top of the slide, you just open your web browser and you insert your credentials. The credential for accessing the HPC or the cloud instance, which is authenticated then against your AD, whatever you have, or if you have local users as well, it works. And then from there, you get access to be able to schedule jobs, to use the compute nodes, to upload and download files, literally with drag and drops. And you can also modify those files. You have access to graphical user interface, applications, and also to a terminal, literally from wherever. So the graphical user interface, it's something that is growing in its use because we have a lot of users that they don't know what an HPC is. They are not Linux savvy. They were like me with this black screen and they don't know what they're doing. So we create this environment that is safer and they can have access to any kind of these different graphical interface applications that are installed in your cluster or cloud instance, and via a single click, literally a single click, they can get access to it. Also to a graphical desktop, which is a desktop inside an interactive session inside your HPC compute node. And recently, it was presented in the conference this year, okay? They deployed the Appverse. It doesn't work, but it's fine with it, or maybe it does. Okay. They deployed the Appverse, which is a catalog of different applications or different configurations for the application that you want to install. And you can find here an example of whatever application you want to use. And in this way, it's just adapting the configuration to your local installation. And now I might need the help of someone if I'm not able to go back to the presentation. So I'm doing like this. Okay, I'm back to the presentation. Amazing. And as I said, you can have a desktop, you can have whatever graphical interface application, but this is not limited to that. You can have whatever application deployed via Open OnDemand for the end user. On the user side, there is no installation, so that's why for me it would have been amazing. It's compatible with any device. We had a video of one of the Ohio Supercomputing Center people, I think was the main developer, Alan, of the Open OnDemand, which was connecting to the HPC on the browser of his Tesla. Of course, you have to be inside the network. If you have a VPN, you have to use the VPN. But he was connecting to the cluster on the Tesla. I remember to use my mobile phone from home and have to download some whatever terminal emulator. But with Open OnDemand, this is not needed. There is no entry barrier. It's a web page. We are using lots of them every day. And it's also configurable. You can have your own application. You can have your own settings and setup because it's based on personal Nginx folders and files inside your home. And you can do literally whatever you want, also at the user level, if you are a little bit savvy. But also on the sysadmin side, maybe the installation at the beginning is difficult, even though you can embed it into an Ansible playbook to have the DEX and the Nginx setup. But then with a couple of YAML files, you can have the installation done and configured. It's open source, and it's not a young open source project. It's 10-year-old, and they have now they have 10 years of support that are granted because of some grant that they got from the US. And there is a large community that is supporting it and giving help. It supports multiple workload manager, Kubernetes, Slurm, LSF, PBS, whatever you need. And if it doesn't support it, it's very niche workload manager, but you can always ask, and the community will answer. Also, to install it, there is minimal software requirement. You need, on the browser side, any minimum, any recent browser will work. There was a problem recently with Firefox, but it was fixed in a few weeks. And on the cluster side, on the serving node, because Open OnDemand lives normally on the login nodes, or it can also live in some other virtual machines, but in that case, you will have the home of the cluster or of the cloud instance exported and accessible from the serving node. But we normally use it on the login node of the service, and you need a bit more software on the compute side for the desktop, basically. And also, you will need to have the graphical interface application installed on the computer, on the app stack that you have in your HPC or in the cloud. But I will move to that later with the second technology I will show you. And again, it's configurable, flexible, customizable. For example, we have a customer with one single HPC that is based in 3 sites. And in this customer, we have different user bunches, let's say. And so we configure different profiles. On these different profiles, they have access to different help desks different documentation page, different subset of applications, and it's just by changing the profile that you can have access to one or the other. So you can have a personalized experience, even though the framework behind is the same. And again, in this customer is a community effort on top of the community effort of Open On Demand. And I can show you, for example, how it works to go the interactive graphical interface application. Guys, I don't use Mac normally, so I have really no clue how to use that. So, for example, I will show you the file browser. It's better. And how it works. This is our internal installation. We used to be called HPC now, so that's why of the logo. You can just go and click on Files. Then, here we just show the home directory, but you can have access to everything, also Scratch, and you can have your files and folders that are there. You can scroll down, open the script, and then you can even see the script. This is just to see the script, or edit it directly from the web page, directly for the interface. And I'm not showing you this, the drop and the click and drop, because it would be too much. And I also want to show you the idea of the documentation and how this is accessible and customizable directly from the web page. So the user, they don't have to have different platforms, going to ServiceNow, to Jira, to wherever, to open you a ticket or to ping you in chat. They can directly open a ticket from the Open On Demand interface, which make it very, very flexible. And now here I have to go back to the... Okay, I don't know how to do it, so I will do like this. Perfect. And you can also have access to the shell and to the interactive application, as I said before. So if you want to have more info, please Google Open On Demand, not only OOD or not only On Demand, because it will bring you to a different web page. You have documentation, the website. There is a discourse, which is a forum that is supported by the Ohio Supercomputing Center and the community. There are the videos for the Good 25 and the Good 26, the two main Open On Demand conferences. 2 years ago they started. This year it was the second version. And also in the HPCKP that I will show you later, and other conference, you can see a lot of video, a lot of information on how to do it, caveats, possible issues. And monthly, there are tips and tricks calls that you can join if you need help from the community. Normally there is a showcase, a little presentation of what someone else have done. And we have 3 of them. We have one in the US, this is the older one. We have one in the APAC time, so it's in New Zealand. You can join that, but it's at 3 a.m. in the morning, so it's not easy for us. And that's why we also put in place the EMEA Open On Demand tips and tricks that we are doing every first Thursday of the month. You have the QR code there, but you can also find it on the discourse and in the Open On Demand page. You are very welcome to join. DoITNow is organizing it and managing it. And by DoITNow, I mean me. You can directly contact me as well, because I'm the one organizing it. And normally we will, next week, no, it's in 2 weeks, the next one, we will have a Q&A session, and I think we will have a presentation, but Laura is still working on it. So the second technology I'm going to show you today, it was already presented to this audience a couple of years ago, and it is EESSI. It's pronounced EESSI, and it's the European Environment for Scientific Software Installation. So the idea of EESSI is to provide something similar of what Marcin showed us before the coffee break. So it is to provide performant binary pre-compiled that are available, and you're going to be exposed only to the ones that are more performant for your microarchitecture. It's based on layers, so that is OS agnostic. The idea is to have an operating system at the bottom, and on top of it, we have the file system layer, which is the CERN VMFS, which we are using to distribute the binaries across the world and the different clients of EESSI. And it's based on HTTP protocol. You have a stratum 0, which is the source of truth, and then in the stratum 1 you have a copy, read-only, and you get access from that, and the app is cached then locally in the client to speed up the way in which the application is loaded. We have a compatibility layer that we decided to begin to prefix in order to be agnostic of the host operating system and to provide all the needed libraries that are not going to be in the app stack. And on top, we have the app stack, the software layer, all the optimized application, plus all the dependency. As Marcin was said before, the toolchain need to be shipped with, because you need to have access to whatever library that you need to have for your application to work. So, news from 2 years ago. So 2 years ago, Danilo showed it to you, and since 2 years ago, we managed to deprecate the pilot because we went live. We also deprecate part of the dev easy for RISC-V. We now have the 2023 and in 2025 repositories. 2023 is more completed, but of course older. 2025, it had 500 apps already installed, software already installed, but I made this presentation a few weeks ago, so it can have been increased meanwhile. Also, since 2 years ago, we increased the number of CPU targets. Of course, if your CPU is not here, it's going to use the most similar one, likely not as performant as you can have it, but it is what it is. For example, when we didn't have all the ARM architectures, we were falling back on some Intel one or some AMD one, the generic likely. We had the generic, the Zen 2, Haswell, and Skylake since the beginning of the project, but we recently worked very hard to have ARM included and all the apps being also deployed and installed for ARM architecture, including recently Graviton and ThunderX. Easy is used. It's not something that it's a nice open source project contributed by the community. It is used in quite some center, including the Euro HPC systems. We can see here, for example, Leonardo, that is where it's operational, the Eucalion, where they're hosting yesterday and today the Easy Build user meeting. And we did that thanks to the Euro HPC joint undertaking and the multi-scale project that was financing also the support for the end users. You can open a ticket to us, to Easy, to have some issue fix, some request of new application, and this was thanks to the multi-scale. Also, and this is brand new, I know there is a lot of written things, but stay with me, the message is very simple. We cannot ship CUDA, okay? And we don't know which kind of GPU libraries you have, and we cannot ship those. So what we do is to provide a couple of scripts that you can run, you as a sysadmin can run, and in this way you can say to Easy, you can tell to Easy how to access the GPU drivers, the CUDA installation, and in this way having access to a very performant application of applications like GROMACS, Espresso, or LAMPS, or just only PyTorch or TensorFlow and AlphaFold, and you can run your AI framework using Easy just by exposing to Easy where the GPU libraries are and the kind of GPU libraries that you have, which was, I have to tell you, it was 3 years ago that we started talking about GPU applications. It took us 3 years to have it done, but now it works. You want to know more on Easy? There is a training event starting this month. You can go to easy.io docs training events and you can have access to those. This is completely free, it's completely online. You can follow it and you can have a lot of information on Easy and on Multiscale, also in the respective web page. Think that we are working very hard to make the documentation a good one. It's needed. And also, I told you about Open On Demand before, I told you about Easy. Open On Demand needs the application to be installed in the cluster or in the cloud instance, but today you can also do it without installing anything. You can do it by exposing Easy to your environment, and then with the Open On Demand application that my colleague Christian developed, you can have access to all the Easy modules. I forgot to say that Easy uses LMod to expose the scientific applications. And from there, you open a desktop with the application from EESSI already loaded, which was a great change because you don't need to have a previous installation of the application in your cluster. EESSI does the work, and OnDemand exposes it to the end user. So I want to finalize with the 3 events that we have this year. So in a couple of months, we have the HPC-KP in Barcelona. The call for tutorial and presentation is still open, so if you want to come and to apply, we are very welcome to have you there. And also we will have the roundtable from Turin in September, and the one that is maybe closer to you, more or less, in Munich in October. And with that, I finish, and I'm open to any question you might have.
Thank you, Erica. Any questions? Yep.
Thank you for your last talk. So about OnDemand, I just have a small curiosity question. So I always wondered about the purpose of this thing. So from my understanding, using OnDemand from the user side may make it easier for them to use the HPC system. But the fact that they still need to deal with the Python code and potentially share, I'm just wondering if after dealing with all these things, can we expect this to increase the usability of HPC?
So if I'm getting you right, yes, it does increase the use of the HPC. The Idaho National Library made a comparison between the time to when the account was created to the first login, and it decreased 19-fold from before to after OnDemand was deployed. Also think that OnDemand gives you some rails on which the end user, the newbie end user goes. So the interactive sessions are interactive sessions with predefined setups. You also can provide some form, some templates so that it's easier for them to get access to the application running, and they are stopped taking something random from Google or from Stack Overflow and then copy paste and requested you 2 GPUs for running some tools, for example, that does not need GPU. So it's something that it's also possible to do there. And yes, there is an increase on the usage because it's not a black terminal. And if you're a Windows-based user, it's really to go to Chrome or Firefox or Safari or whatever you have and just open OnDemand and log in. So yes, it does help.
The same.
Well, that's following what Lee's question. So how you, at the long term, would the users will be getting even this dark terminal capabilities? Because the moment if they change to another place, if they stop using this interface, would that they have to start from the beginning there through this terminal, or it will give you the capability to also, by time, to learn other method?
It really depends on how good the sysadmin and the user support are. But no, the idea is not that one. The idea is to make it simple for them, even though there is access to the terminal. You have access to the terminal, but then it's a matter of training. It's not. This is not a platform that it's meant, even though it's meant for training purposes, it's not meant to make the users avoid it and go back to open a terminal and then SSH into the cluster. This is not what it's meant for. It's meant exactly for example, those a new API that is starting having too many data and they have to get access to it to the cluster because they need it, and they are Windows-based APIs and just need to get access to it. OnDemand makes their life easier, and also yours, because they are getting access between some guardrails, so you're not giving them a car and a highway, just go, and they are sort of supported.
Very clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Erica.
Thank you very much.